ANC's Lester Kiewit is following the story. He joins us now via Skype. Lester, of course, the NEC has a tough talk to actually get through because it needs to take a stance on whether it's going to support the former president if he goes on trial.
That's right. Also quite peculiar, quite interesting is whether former President Jacob Zuma will still be part of the ANC's 2019 election campaign. Just 2 weeks ago, the former president was on the campaign trail for the ANC in KZN during the voter registration weekend, and I'm sure last week's announcement by the National Prosecuting Authority to reinstate charges for President Jacob Zuma will be discussed here at what is being described as a scheduled and ordinary NEC meeting here in Cape Town this afternoon.
Now, Lester, of course, the president is getting the support of the state with regards to his legal costs, but he says if he is found to have benefited personally from what's happened, if found guilty, he will pay it back. The ANC will, of course, say that this is a state matter, but ultimately its government is in power.
That's right. The ANC is the ruling party in government, and obviously in 2006, when that decision was taken to pay the legal costs for the now former President Jacob Zuma, that was taken under an ANC government. What we do know is that opposition parties plan to take this decision on review. If you can remember yesterday's statement by President Cyril Ramaphosa, the last line of that saying that because he is a sitting president and he must follow through with this agreement that had been signed in 2006, he can't just simply rescind that decision. But he did say that if opposition parties do, or any interested party decides to take that matter on review, they are in every right to do so. This is obviously something that would be on the mind of the ANC as it looks to a 2019 campaign. Cyril Ramaphosa has been campaigning so long, or since he's come into office, and as president of the ANC, somewhat on a no corruption ticket, or on a clean ticket, and one wants to see what these now reinstated charges of the former president Jacob Zuma, what exactly would that mean for an ANC 2019 campaign?
This is not a real question, but I'm thinking about how the president can make that argument about having to follow through with this because it was agreed upon before he took office. Because let's be honest, the president has made several changes to what Jacob Zuma's administration decided on, and so why can't he do the same thing with this one? But let's move to a real question, Lester, and that, of course, is how does the ANC actually come out of this not seeming to be looking the other way when it comes to the amount of money being spent on this case and on Jacob Zuma?
I think I'm going to try and answer that first part of your questions, John. I think that what the president is trying to do is trying to use process and to use mechanisms of state institutions to seemingly act upon errant government officials, while at the same time seemingly keeping his hands clean. If you can remember when he removed a former Public Enterprises Minister, Lynn Brown, and removed former Cogta Minister, Des Van Rooyen, and in that letter to the National Assembly, he said, to the National Assembly Speaker, he said it was because of that Public Protector's report that found that former Ministers Brown and Des Van Rooyen lied to Parliament. That was essentially his reason from removing them from government. So too, he could say that he would adhere to all mechanisms, or he would adhere to a High Court decision to review that agreement to pay President Jacob Zuma's legal bill. So at the same time, while acting, keeping his hands clean, so to say. But you're very right. How is the ANC and how is government going to justify this this 50.3 million rand legal bill for the former President Jacob Zuma? I think there's going to be quite a real intensive talk here at the ANC's NEC meeting on just exactly what these charges against the former President Jacob Zuma means for the ANC, and also try to structure an election campaign that it is turning a new leaf, that they are acting tough on crime and corruption, and at the same time the President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, in that statement again yesterday reiterating that public money should not be used frivolously and to support any ill-gotten gains. So I think that is a message that the ANC is going to try and craft ahead of the 2019 elections.
All right.